everyone, I think I might have found my new favourite lens, the Miranda FD 24mm f2.8 Macro, a vintage gem built over 50 years ago in the 1970s. I bought it almost a decade ago for £50, roughly $67, but I've only recently given it a proper go during my trip to Yucatan, Mexico. And let me tell you, I was pleasantly surprised. Mine unfortunately has lost its nameplate, but it still works perfectly. But enough talk, let's look at the footage. I shot it all on my Sony A7CII Mark II using internal recording on its 4K 24p 10-bit highest setting of 240 megabits a second using S-Log3. I used an FD to E-mount adapter to pair it with my camera. Unfortunately, the adapter I have with me has a broken lock-open ring, keeping the aperture stuck wide open at f2.8, but honestly, that's not a bad thing. I love shooting wide open, especially with these old retro lenses. I've used a lot of the Canon FD lenses like the 28mm and the 50mm SSC for years. The 50mm was even my first prime lens that I ever owned, and I still use it today. But this Miranda 24mm is pretty special. I expected something lesser, but the sharpness at 2.8 was surprisingly good, and the macro capabilities let me get super close to subjects, around 15 centimeters 6 inches, before blur kicks in. That's a huge plus for macro work or tight compositions. I edited and graded the footage in Adobe Premiere. I cropped the footage to an aspect ratio of 2:39:1, giving it dynamic widescreen feel. I also applied warp stabilizer to some of the more shaky shots. I used an ND filter to keep the footage looking cinematic. By following the 180-degree rule, I can expose the image correctly while keeping my shutter speed at double the frame rate. If that all sounds like jargon, it's actually quite simple. Locking your shutter to twice your frame rate is the secret to achieving that smooth film-like motion blur we see in the movies. If you're into vintage lenses, manual focus, and that timeless film aesthetic, this one's a must-try. It's not just a bargain at $67, it's a hidden gem that delivers sharpness, character, and a unique perspective. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and you can check out another lens test right here.